Hey y'all, welcome to our stream. Now, this game just came out a couple days ago. Real excited. I was part of the beta for a little bit in the very beginning. But Empires, Field of Glory, Kingdoms. So, this is going to be real fun. I have not played in a very long time. We're just going into it the very first playthrough. So, we're just going to figure it out as we go along here. Sure, it's going to be a good time. So we're choosing our faction now, is looking around the map. It doesn't look like everything on the map is playable, right? So there are some that are going to be more interesting than others. There are some that are independent fiefdoms, it looks like, that are not playable. But we're going to pick a one province minor. I always kind of like starting these. Now, whether or not it's going to be interesting or whatnot, it might be good as long as you don't get, wiped off the map really soon in the beginning of the game. So we're going to go with Galloway. Interesting part of the map, a lot of stuff going on here. Also, this interest, 4 out of 5, seemed pretty interesting to me, just based on that. Difficulty 4 out of 5, also kind of interesting. We're doing this on the balanced difficulty level, so nothing necessarily too difficult. So complexity and length, 5 out of 5, just for the grand campaign, 1054. So Mormaer, I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation. We're just going to go with Mormaer. The ruler is Tubasog, 554, and I'm assuming those are different stats that we have here. No treaties. So, a little bit of background here. Galloway, a petty kingdom in the southwest of Scotland, recognized the King of Scotland as Overking, but in practice was mostly independent. At other times it fell under the influence of the often powerful Hiberno Norse kingdoms of the Irish Sea. After the last king of Galloway died without a male heir in 1234, the territory was annexed by Alexander II of Scotland with the support of the surviving daughters and their Anglo-Norman husbands. Galloway was a pastoral land famous for its cattle, with at least 2 prominent breeds named after the region. It was also the home of the impetuous Galwegian clans, consisting of warriors who considered most forms of armor to be an impediment rather than a protection. This disdain led to heavy losses at the Battle of the Standard in 1138, suggesting that fighting naked was perhaps not such a bonus. All right, so we take a look at the gameplay. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff here. Let's go ahead and just read through this here. To begin with, it's crucial to ensure that your treasury is not losing an excessive amount of money. Sounds good. This can severely limit your options. Take stock of your regions and assess whether any buildings are worth the cost. To know also that kingdoms randomize the regions with different buildings. Okay, cool. So good to know that. So your initial situation will vary even for the same nation between 2 tries on the same scenario. If not, consider dismantling them. If you are not under immediate threat and have exceeded your retinue allowance, units with much reduced upkeep costs, it may be necessary to disband some units. As a temporary measure, selling regional decisions can also help. Once your finances are in order, focus on increasing your income. Next, prioritize stabilizing your authority. If it is in the negative, consider appointing peers of the realm as province governors, shedding regions through diplomacy, or with the use of regional decisions. Bear in mind that authority is challenging to gain and easy to lose, so consider constructing structures that can improve it. Keep in mind that these structures are often Tier 2 buildings, except for permanent defensive structures, which they can provide authority at the Tier 1 level. It's also important to be mindful of your neighbors and explore opportunities to forge relationships or treaties. The cooperation treaty is the easiest option and can improve relationships over time. If relations sour, consider becoming the vassal of a more powerful nation to secure protection. Don't rush to expand your territories. Developing your regions is key to success. Once your indicators are mostly positive and you have a capable army, consider who might be your first target. Remember that claims are typically made against nations with whom you have poor relations, so you may need to relinquish some claims and insult a few people to make room for new targets. While being high in authority is desirable, it comes with drawbacks such as losing more authority with certain actions and raising tensions with other nations. Avoid falling into the 3rd tier of the progress chart and only evolve into a new form of government when you are confident that you can maintain your authority. If in doubt, consolidate your gains and proceed with caution. While fortune may favor the bold, it also rewards the prepared. Good strategies. Now, I do remember playing some of this in the beta, and it is also in some ways similar to Field of Glory Empires, which I played a little bit of as well. So we're going to kind of go forward with some of that knowledge. I'm not coming to this completely unaware of how the game works. I have some recollection of some of the mechanics, but of course, some of that may have changed. So some of the modifiers we have are Scottish culture. Bonus of 10 XP when a unit is created. Apply only to infantry. Character force pool bonus +1. Claylia. Okay, so that is definitely Gaelic. So not sure. Scottish Gaelic, haven't studied that. I've studied a little bit of Irish Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic, I don't know. So we're just gonna go with Claylia. or the right of royal prey, was a traditional act often expected of a new king of Alba. Since the early times, it meant raiding neighboring lands, often the southern ones in Britannia. If the dynasty age is no older than 25 years, then pillaging a region of Anglo-Saxon culture will grant +1 national authority. Okay, so go on raids, essentially. Burghs and towns. From the 12th century onward, a special status has been given to select villages and towns, granting them privileges such as the right to hold a fair or governance over some portion of land. The dynamism of these grants played no small part in the prosperity of medieval Scotland. Burghs can appear spontaneously in regions of Scottish culture which lack them and can be of four sorts: mercantile, royal, baronial, or ecclesiastic. Each provides a unique benefit without many drawbacks to worry about. The region loyalty must be at least 75. Okay, now that we know this, let's go for it. Okay, playing a Scotland or a Scottish Mormire. So I guess we're a Mormire. Scotland's position on the map will considerably limit its expansion, at least until the English problem is resolved. To the north, a region with Scottish culture is under the control of a Norwegian vassal, so chances are that your relations with Norway will not be the best, although the North Sea will somewhat limit Scandinavian intervention. To the south, there are England and their vassals. You are not necessarily forced to be England's enemy, but both the geographical situation and interactions between countries often make this a reality. If not pressured too much by Normandy or France, England will naturally want to control all the British Isles, while on your side, the richer lands are in the south. Add to that your cultural trait Creiria, which grants you bonus authority when you raid Anglo-Saxon regions, and the dice are loaded in a certain direction. Let's not forget also the cultural trait Old Alliance, which provides a bonus to authority if you are allied with France, a country often fighting England. Ireland could be a good ally against an overly aggressive England, but can also prove to be a nice place to expand if England and Scotland manage to stay on peaceful terms. Your cultural trait Gaelic Resistance will take time to be beneficial, as initially it will lead to more frequent revolts when you conquer territories, but can translate to more mercenaries later on. Finally, Burghs and Towns is your last national perk and will provide a much needed boost to your economy as you control more Scottish culture regions. It's an interesting trait as it can remain active throughout the game as you culturally convert new regions. A long process. All in all, Scotland is quite an interesting kingdom to play, but its success is partly dependent on how England fares and in which direction the English king looks. So there we go. Kind of summarized what we just read, but also added a lot of new information here. So turn 1, 1054, the fair season. Now we just take a look here at the UI. This is our projected income, our manpower, diplomacy, Christian Catholic, which is our religion, our nation panel and dynasty panel, our ledger, regional decisions, metal production, which is great because producing metal is great, legacy changes, and planned authority changes. So legacy changes, I think, is just how your culture progresses over time, are the measure on which your success or failure will be judged at the end of the game. Your current ranking is 66 out of 202. So I know all of these things will probably just come together as time goes on, but here we are in Galloway, a Galwegian Mormire. We have 10 units for garrisons and militia defense, available food 32 plus 23, expected army food usage of 2, in hills, land cost 3. So here's our army. First Autumn, Galloway, combat power 17, 4 units. Idnerth is our general here. Food usage 2, move speed 6. So this is our, if we wanted to move where we could go. It looks like we do have ships. So we can go further here. We can go and raid. We're not going to do that right off the bat, but now we know that we have that. We have light archers, ranged, and yep, there we go. Now, we can load these into Field of Glory Kingdoms, which we might do if it's a significant battle. I've found that when I've played the Field of Glory games, most of the time, I just kind of let the game decide, unless it's something really crucial. It's just, to be fair, when I play a game that's kind of a turn-based, kind of 4X strategy game, a lot of the times the tactical battles aren't really what I'm playing for. Now, obviously, if there's going to be an interesting matchup, or if it's a big matchup and the odds are pretty even, I would definitely try to put that as, yes, let's do this. This sounds kind of interesting. So we'll look into that as time goes on. Now, here's Galloway as a province. Let's take a look at our basic information here. We are plus 23 food, plus 18 infrastructure. So these are things that are that accumulate from turn to turn. We have a craftsman burrow, which provides 10, and we have a clay pit, which provides 5. Our base is 8. Our structures is 15, and then upkeep is -5. Net regional infrastructure production is 18. Money +9, so we have a base income, whatever we get from certain structures, and then whether or not we have export, so that's there too. Manpower is +1. Metals is 0, which is kind of interesting because we have +2 over here. So we need to see where that metal is coming from. +4 equipment, +30 piety, +41 stewardship. So we have a rudimentary fort. We have Commoner Cemetery, which is 5 piety, it looks like. Then we also have 1 Scottish Christian Catholic clergy working in piety, mysticism, or science, which gives us 25 productivity and 2 unrest. We also have a noble's residence here and alarm bell. So this, I think, adds to our stewardship. There we go. And then we have 1 Scottish Christian Catholic noble working in stewardship and authority. And then we have a bunch of peasants working our shepherd house. So we have a lot of food. Honestly, that feels like something that we shouldn't necessarily be focusing on if we really want to expand. We have our anchorage here. If we want money, we should focus on that. So we have population growth in 4 turns. Now we can move these guys around. These are freemen. And then we have peasants. So I know this has an impact. I can't tell you what it is off the top of my head because I don't quite remember. But now we can take a look at what we can expand here. You know, it's been a while since I played the beta, so I actually don't remember what we should be focusing on right now. But let's just take a look at what we might have here. So we can pick the building of your choice at the cost of national authority, which we don't have anyway. Not, you know, nearly as interesting. We have really good shepherd houses here. Do we want to increase our food intake? You know, I think we want to increase our infrastructure because that leads us to be able to build things more readily and easily later on. A candle shop gives us -1 infrastructure, -8 money, +2 piety. Yeah, no. See, it's a tier 1 commerce and production building. Nah. How about a Fletcher? Okay, so 3 money, 5 equipment. So equipment and money are good. -1 infrastructure, requires 3 population or more. Yeah, a Fletcher is a nice complement to the bowyer as he will provide quality material for your archers and javelin men. During peacetime, he can sell some of his work to hunters. So that's a tier 1 military building here. We have the astronomer's study. Missing bonus from brass and tools. So that might not be super helpful now. We might come back to that later. And now we have Freeman cottages, which decrease our infrastructure money, but increase our stewardship and manpower. And we don't have the bonus from horses or tools. We can trade for those later on. You know, I think let's just focus on farms. The faster we can grow our population, the better. So let's just go ahead and build this farm here. It'll take, I think, 5 turns. So turns before completion 5. And the way that that's calculated is that the structure has a certain cost and that we have a stockpile of infrastructure. So there we go. It'll take 5 turns. And now we have a fortification level 2. Local authority 35, loyalty and revolt risk here. Building slots 6 out of 7. So we can't expand past that just yet. 1 slot per population. So of course, the more people we have, the better. If we build this farm, we'll be able to get to that level more quickly. Okay, so now that we've had this kind of in play, we have a basic idea of what is happening here. Let's take a look at our diplomacy. So we don't have any interactions yet. Now there's Edinburgh, which is the capital of Alba. So the Kingdom of Scotland, we have Strathclyde, the Southern Uplands, Lothian, Alba, the Southern Uplands of Dunbar. So I think Southern Uplands are these 2. Then we have the Scots here. And technically, they're our overlord. I'm not sure. We have the Isle of Man here. And so if we want, you know, I don't feel like we need to necessarily go to war with anybody. Why don't we increase our relations here? Let's see. How about... cooperation. Transaction chance, 15%. Do we have money? Yeah, let's go ahead and say give money. Bargain points. 25. I mean... sure. I mean, I don't know. That seemed like it might have been kind of pointless, but you know, we're gonna put those feelers out there anyway. It doesn't seem like there's any limit to who we can keep approaching, so might as well just approach a couple of folks here. Foreign policy, always help. Future ally. If a nation you plan to ally with is being attacked or declares war on anyone, pledge to answer their call unconditionally. Upon clicking change to join your future ally only if they're attacked and your relationship is at least cordial. So, yeah, we don't have anything here. How about cooperation? Give money? Sure. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth the time or the energy, or whether or not it makes any difference. We could just, I don't know if we can spam these folks here. How about Ulster or the Isle of Man? Let's see, the Isle of Man, Elanvanin. Diplomacy with the Isle of Man. What is clicking on that? Help if cordial. Help if amiable, help if trusted, and never help. Okay, let's say always help. We're not going to do anything with that. So this is a petty kingdom. Okay, so if these guys are like, they're more Myers, and they're still not super jazzed about helping us out, maybe we need to wait a little bit. Now, this is Argyle. Okay, this is an independent faction. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to do. These guys are a Norse kingdom here, and we can't interact with them. All right, so we did that. How about our ledger? Take a look here. So this is going to give us a bunch of information. We don't need to really look at that right now. So we have a couple of regional decisions that we can make here. So we can recruit local units here, or we can recruit non-standard units. Non-standard units are very diverse and range from specialized troops to elite guards to fighting slaves or brigands. This decision allows for the recruitment of archers, ribauds, and Scots Highlanders. Must be a friendly leader in the region. So this will cost us 50 money and 20 manpower. Okay, so there is a difference here that they make between mercenaries and the recruitment queue. So this is one of those differences where, you know, given the economy of the Middle Ages, they're trying to emulate the fact that people didn't really have standing armies, right? So what you do is you hire whoever you want to hire for a war or a raid or whatnot, and then after that, you kind of dismiss them. Keeping a standing army is really expensive. So do we want to hire local troops or non-local troops? Let's just go with some non-standard units. Archers, ribauds, and Scots Highlanders. I don't know, but sure, why not? Let's try it. So now we've made that decision. You have played recruit non-standard units in Galloway. Its cost will be deducted once it triggers 50 money and 20 manpower. So let's just go ahead and say we'll end that turn. So now we have 19 plus 19 per turn plus 6 with a manpower generation. And I think, are we hiring anybody yet? Have these? Okay, here we go. So now we have our second army. So this is our first army. Our second army consists of a couple units of Scots Highlanders and 3 units of archers. So combat power of 42 with our combat power of 17. It doesn't look like we have a general here. Let's see, who do we want to appoint? Ooh, we're bad at this. How about... Ooh, 0-0, huh? How about... Mormar Tuasog. So he's the ruler. So we're going to give him... I guess. Yeah. Offense rating of 2. The leader was not commanding any of these units the turn before. As such, 5 units suffer a penalty of 1 to their experience level. So that will change next turn. So we have Idnerth and we have Tuasog. Now, what do? Enlisted talented combatants, they show a variety of skills. And we have a notification here. The administrative example of Galloway, by showing signs of organized stewardship, are increasing our own authority +1 bonus point. Fantastic. So, do we take our armies and raid? I don't know. Do we want to attack here as a vassal of England? Is England going to do anything? You know, I don't know. And we've sent out our diplomats. Just have to kind of wait for them to get back to us with some of this information. All right, now it looks like we have some action. Scotland and Galloway have agreed upon a mutually beneficial transaction treaty. Good. So we are on better relations with who our theoretical overlord is. Cooperation, and is vassal with Lothian. And let's see, what else do we have here? Our strongholds and places of influence throughout our realm are show of might for all to see. +1 authority gained. You have received a new regional decision, restore order. And Strathclyde rejected our offer. Ah, boo, hiss. Okay, so now we have a few different decisions. We have forged the land. Will restore 1 effectiveness to troops having none left. So that's a different mechanic. We're not even experiencing that yet. We have recruit local units, which we did before. And we also have restore order. Troubles are boiling in the region and the population is unruly. Depending of your ruler and government, different measures will be taken, ranging from easing life conditions to outright executions. Unrest will usually be removed and loyalty restored, though, with or without side effects. So we're not doing anything that requires anything like that. So we're just hanging out. So, okay. Strathclyde rejected our offer. So, question is, do we just attack them early on? I mean, sure. I mean, why not? Why not take them over? They are very weak, right? Is there any reason why we shouldn't attack them? They have 4 units here. Kauluk. They have their round ships, and we have their first army, which is literally just 4 light archers plus their village, right? So they're going to have, what is there? That's a wall level 1, siege resist 12 weak. Garrison units 11, combat power 53 for the garrison here. So, I mean, is there any reason why we shouldn't? Okay, so this is one of those things where I don't know in games like this, what is the perspective that we're supposed to be taking? Is it like, well, we're not going to go to war because there's no reason for us to, or, hey, you know, if it's not going to be us, somebody else will take him, right? Do we just expand into Strathclyde? We're kind of neutral with them, right? I mean, it literally says neutral toward Galloway. They have 11 units for garrisons and militia defense. I mean, do we just take them out? Do we have to declare war on them? Is that the best decision? Does it matter? Right? I think, honestly, if there's a choice, just go ahead. Just go ahead and attack. Let's just save this if this is the wrong decision to make. It's probably the wrong decision to make. I don't know. Do we declare war? Do we just say, hey, here's our army? What do we do? Let's just attack. Who cares? Right? Here we go. So we have our second army, technically, our only army. Let's, do we raid? I mean, okay, so now what? Can we just move this guy here? Lack of passage. You know, I don't know. Let's just go to war. Let's see if we just press this and say war. We have no claim. I don't know. I mean, who cares? I mean, I don't know. Is that something we should care about, right? Do we just go to war? We will lose 15 authority. Okay, not great. That -7 is kind of built in with the same faith, but we have no claim on their territory. It's like, how do we insult their emissary? Your most recent diplomatic missive to Strathclyde cast doubt on the parentage of their ruler. Well, I guess that was just something that went through without us having to confirm that, so I guess we just did that. And this is the Strathclyde region. So, sure, I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing here, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. And what is this? Hibble has a loyalty of 35 and can make a coup while at court, lowered chances. Tegwada has a loyalty of 48 and can make a coup while at court, lowered chances. Click to focus on the region of the most loyal character or your court location. Sure. Okay. So, and we also have characters. I don't know exactly where they're at or what we're supposed to do with that, but sure. We have a dynasty panel here. Dynasty age 8. Mormire Tuasog, Legacy, Authority and Disorder, Stable Mormire. So these are the different levels of the kingdoms. We either evolve or devolve based on that. Domain size. We could possibly have found Scotland, which requires us to have 7 regions, I'm assuming. No domestic special status by network. Yeah, I mean, sure. Let's just go to war. Who cares, right? We have an army. They don't. Let's go diplomacy. Insult emissary. Oh, okay. Let's maybe we'll insult them and see if that gives us a claim. So let's just go ahead and end the turn. See what happens. The temerarious Tuasog of Galloway has boldly insulted Kindelu, ruler of Strathclyde, accusing him of lacking both courage and wisdom. All right. Well. Anchorage, owned by Strathclyde, and Strathclyde has been destroyed by Galloway. Wait, how did we do that? Strathclyde was raided by Galloway, and the invaders managed to plunder some towns. Okay, I have no idea how we did that. Did I just pick it to raid and, like, not remember giving out that order? That's strange. I don't remember doing any of that, but alright. You've received a new regional decision, Show of Authority. One of the major nobles of our realms will pay a visit to the region, making sure everyone remains duly obedient to our rule. We'll immediately grant 50 stewardship points, plus 12 turns modifier, increasing stewardship generation. Not yet. Let's see, what do we have here? Strathclyde was raided by Galloway, and the invaders managed to plunder some towns. I don't know how we did that. Okay, so now they have an army and Cowlock. Okay, so sure. Anchorage, owned by Strathclyde, and Strathclyde has been destroyed by Galloway. So somehow we've received new regional decisions over authority, and several signs tell us that the next few months will be particularly harsh for men and crops. So I don't know what happened. What just happened? I don't know. So we have our army here. Can we move him here? Can't move in this region, lack of passage rights. Let's just go ahead and declare war, just to make sure we know exactly what we're doing here. So let's go to our diplomacy section, say declare war. It'll be declaring war on Strathclyde. Sure, sounds good. So the interesting thing with this UI I've noticed is that sometimes you just put an order in and there's no confirmation per se. What you can do is later on go in there and say, all right, cancel this by clicking on the order again, but it won't automatically just give you the option to, like, say, do you want to do this? Are you sure? So we're going to raid a nearby region. Okay, now I understand what happened. We had, and this is one of those things, again, that kind of just goes back to the point I just made. Sometimes it doesn't ask for your confirmation. Because I selected raid, the game assumed, hey, you want to raid. We're going to pick a random region. Turns out this guy you insulted, hey, why don't we just go raid them, right? So that's what happened. I was like, wait, what did we do here? Okay, so retaliate to neutralize an enemy army. You won't capture the first hostile region entered and will return to the previous region instead. Doing so will cause an effectiveness loss. You won't gain any authority if you're victorious, but the enemy might lose more than usual if the regions become pillaged. So we could do that. We could disband this region. We can garrison this army, or we can assault. Nope. Let's see. Assault fortified structures at the next opportunity. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so if we assault and raid, let's just clear this out. Okay, so assuming we're not doing anything here, if I just right click on Strathclyde, nothing happens. So what I can do is raid a random adjacent non-pillaged enemy region. I don't know if they're an enemy region. It's pillaged. We just were the ones who pillaged it. We can assault fortified structures at the next opportunity. Sure. You know what? Let's just go ahead and say yes to both of these and see what happens. At this point, we're just trying to see how this all fits together. So let's say that's good. We'll end the turn. Okay, it looks like they're sending out some kind of flotilla or sending the ships out. I don't know if they're going to come raid us in Galloway or what. It is unclear. So the game is processing a turn. It seems to have hung up. Nope, there it is. Right before. Ah, we lost a 13 authority. It's not great. Don't know what happened there, but we'll find out. Tuasog ruling our realm is inefficient with incompetent advisors. Galloway is now regressing. Disorder tier reached. I don't know what just happened. Ah, it's because we declared war. So we lost the authority, right? So that value went to a -6. Because we didn't have a claim and because we declared on a region that has the same religion that we do. So the declarations of war were -15. So this is what happens when you don't take that into account. Now we're crumbling, bottom tier, aging, token 0, 20% chance to receive a disordered token. So authority and disorder, not great. We'll find out what happens there once we get to that point. But here we go. So, from Scotland, together we must unite in the crusade against Strathclyde. Tuasog, ere long we shall muster the means to aid you. So, it turns out, you know, Scotland wants to back us up, which is great. We, you know, have a treaty of cooperation with them. They also had a treaty of cooperation with Strathclyde, if I'm not mistaken. So, it turns out that they picked our horse in this race because we have a bigger army than they do. So, you know, that works. And then this next one is, you have received new regional decision, send counselor. So send counselor, what does this do? You'll send one of your advisors, or is he a spy, to assist a peer of the realm in charge of one of your domains, province. This will boost his loyalty and might even increase one of his ratings. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So that's, we don't need to use that right now. A new war has begun. The House of Galloway does not suffer the insults of Strathclyde any longer, and so war has been declared. Okay, so I declare we are at war with Strathclyde. Now, whether or not this is interesting or anything will happen. They have a combat power of 28. They have 5 units. Our army has a combat power of 59 with 9 units. This should be theoretically a pretty easy battle to have in the field. Now, they do have a pretty big garrison, 11 units, right? So I don't know what we need to do, if this is going to be a double action kind of thing where we take their army out first and then we lay siege to their fortress, or what. So we'll have to figure that out. Ongoing war against Strathclyde, duration 1, current war score 0. So this is going to be a running total here. And these are perhaps unruly members of our house here. Okay, so let's take our army here. Can we right click on this guy? Okay, so we have our army selected here. We do right click and they're going to be running into Strathclyde. Look at these guys ready to go. So let's go ahead and end that turn. And let's see if it gives us the option. Now, because this is one of those kind of not super important. I mean, it is important, right? It's going to determine the fate of Strathclyde. It's not a huge battle, so normally I would just have this auto resolve. If it turns out to be interesting, sure, let's go ahead and try loading that. And in some ways, maybe, who knows, maybe that'll be interesting in and of itself. So let's just see what happens. Let's end the turn. It is a harsh season, year 1056. So it's not clear here. Oh, whoa, there's a lot of stuff happening here. It looks like they've retreated behind their walls, which, you know, to be fair, is the right move. Now, do we assault the castle? Do we starve them out? What options does the game give us? We're going to find that out next. All right, so now there's some stuff that's happening, right? So there's a new population in Galloway, and a farm has been completed in Galloway. So fantastic. Now we can have something else in the queue. Population will grow in 4 turns. We're at our max number of buildings. Oh, no, we're not. We have 8 slots available, and we have 7 buildings. Now, what do we need? I don't know. Honestly, at this point, it's a little unclear. I know infrastructure is pretty good. You always want to have enough infrastructure, because when you have more infrastructure, you can build things more quickly. Otherwise, the pace can be glacial. Now, food is increasing pretty quickly. Honestly, manpower seems really important, but at the same time, having more people to have a bigger city, to have a bigger settlement, to have more buildings, sounds like the right way to go. So let's take a look at what is now possibly in our queue here. Now, we have a few different options. We have a legumes farm, which increases food by 7. This is probably something that we can really take advantage of in Galloway. That seems to be we have a bonus for our food, right? Base food population production is 40. So this might be our advantage here. I'm not sure how well we can figure this out. I'll take a look here at the province. Next, we have a stonemason, which increases infrastructure by 11, but reduces our money by 8. It's a pretty big cost here. Needs local stone. Needs stone, local trade good, cost 2 money. Now, do we have stone? From here, I can't quite tell. It's probably a piece of information that's probably readily available here if I were to look. Oh, wow. Okay, so this opens a whole bunch of information here. We'll back out of that just for right now. So the other option here is we have a local market. Reduces infrastructure and money by 1, and we're also missing bonus of wine and flax. It needs pottery and trading is required. Now, whether or not the local market matters, what does this do? It produces money. Oh, wait, no, I didn't mean to click on that. Okay, now we have a bowyer. Will produce and store equipment for your army. Produces money and equipment. I think that's a good thing. We have here, let's see what we've got. A stockpile of 16. Can store up to 16 equipment when we're not actively producing a unit. So we can use this to produce units here. We haven't looked at that quite yet. We have a pilgrim's refuge, so -5 health, -1 infrastructure, but +3 money and 13 piety. Now, piety is one of those things, I'm not sure how valuable it is, right? I don't know what this does, why piety is important. We'll have to kind of look into that. And we also have a town crier, which increases our stewardship by 8. Stewardship is a good value to have. Whether or not we need more of it at this point, I don't know. I mean, from here, yes. But do we need it right now? I don't know. Legumes farm sounds like a pretty easy choice. Let's just go ahead and build a legume farm. And we'll take a look at the other things that we can do. Now, we have an empty unit queue, and to be honest, we're only fighting Strathclyde, so I'm not super worried about putting anything in that queue right now. But for the sake of just kind of working with the mechanics here, we can pick something here. We have Scottish spearmen, light archers, sergeants, early knights and sergeants, and then a couple of ships that we can try to build here. We have 30 medals and 16 equipment. So we're maxed out at equipment, so let's just go ahead and build one of these units. Let's say sergeants. Or how about early knights and sergeants? This really adds power to our army here. It's going to cost 190 gold. We have quite a bit. 20 manpower, 24 metal, and 160 equipment. We do not have that. We have 16. So that would take a very long time to build, if I'm not mistaken. Sergeants, yeah. Let's just try the Scottish Spearmen. Skills run of Scottish Spearmen. Let's try adding that to the queue. So I'm not sure exactly how long that's going to take. I forget exactly what's going to happen here, but it's going to take 24 manpower, 2 metal, 35 equipment, and 24 money. So let's just go ahead and say, sure, let's try this out. We are in the middle of a war to begin with anyway, so we gained a population and the farm has been completed. So that was what happened at the end of last turn. So now we have that. Let's take a look at what's happening here. So now we are besieging Strathclyde. Unbreached walls, 1 of 1. So the defender has a lot of siege resist, 31. They have really big walls to hide behind. Now, this is something I did notice when we tried looking over the province's information. They had a level 3 fort, a lot of just kind of, a lot of fortifications. 21. Now our values are the same, but it's -6 because it's a defensive overcrowding penalty. So the siege might last a long time. Unbreached walls, 1 of 1. Now what we can do here, I believe, is we can take our army and tell them what to do with some kind of some amount of flexibility, but not really anything. So we could just starve them out. We can try assaulting the fortified structures if we want, kind of going after them. They do outnumber us here. So their garrison is 32 and 56. So 88 and our army is 59. So the best thing for us to do is really just kind of hold up until we starve them out. Now, the other thing we can try to do, and this kind of goes back here to our queue, is recruit more spearmen. Now, that'll take 5 turns. Yeah, that'll take a while. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Let's go ahead and recruit these light archers as well. That's going to take 15 turns. So it's going to take a long time to get any of this stuff done. But now that we know, we're just going to sit outside Strathclyde. Who cares? What are we going to do? Nothing. So we're just going to let them sit there and see what happens. So it might take a long time. It's not guaranteed to take a long time. It's minus 12 score there. So who knows? Maybe there's going to be some subterfuge. Okay. Yeah. Their flag just got torn up. So they're either starving or they came out to sally forth and it went really badly for them and it just kind of skipped the battle. I don't know. We're going to find out this next turn. Starting to kind of figure out how the UI works. I'm trying to remember what happens here. So we lost 4 authority here, or minus 4 authority. It's not increasing by anything. It's increasing by 0.9, but I guess the game rounds the integers down to 0. So we'll see. So we have received a new regional decision, call to arms. So the call to arms. Now, one of these things is kind of interesting. It doesn't automatically go to the thing that is new. It'll stay on what you highlighted previously, so which was send counselor. So we can go to call to arms. The Osta army needs to be mustered now. Each local lord must provide a contingent of troops for the upcoming war. So it gives us the targeted region will immediately receive 100 equipment points, but a penalizing modifier will be applied for the following 12 turns. So we don't really need that right now. We're just going to sit on that, but it's good to know that we have that available in the future. It'll cost us 20 manpower. We don't have that much equipment. It's kind of odd. It's not listed up here. Oh, whoa. No. Cancel it by right-clicking the icon. Cancel. Don't do that. So that's how it does it. It doesn't ask for your confirmation. It just kind of lets you say, hey, I'm making the decision now, but you have to kind of cancel it on your own. So we have received a new regional decision. Now, what are we doing here? Not really much of anything. Let's go to the queue. 4 turns, 14 turns. So they're happening concurrently, right? I thought it was going to be, what you're actually doing is contributing to both units being built, but it'll happen when a certain amount of time has passed, right? So we have 20 equipment right now, plus 4 every turn. So essentially what we're doing is building the equipment to then build the troops. So we're not, you could think of it in one of 2 ways. We're waiting for the troops to be built, or the other way of thinking about it is you're building up enough equipment to then at that point be able to build a unit immediately. So for example, the Scottish Spearman requires 35 equipment. It takes us 4, we're gaining 4 per turn. So 4 turns from now would be 36 equipment, and then we would immediately build this unit. So that's kind of the math going on behind it. Now, while besieging Glasgow and Strathclyde, Galloway inflicted a few casualties against the defender. I mean, a few casualties? This looks like their banners got torn up. So, I mean, unbreached walls, 1 of 1. The garrison is starving to death. So they have a sum of siege resist of structures 8, right? So 12-12, siege might last a long time. I mean, at this rate, we just let them starve. That army was at 88 the previous turn. 88! Right now, it's at 69. Nice. So I'd say we just wait for them to starve. We're just besieging them. And I mean, technically they're losing food too, so their population is also going to starve. But I'm assuming we're just letting their army starve. So let's just take another turn here and see what happens. I'm pretty sure we are not going to have to do very much of anything, and we should be able to win this pretty handily. Even if they decide to sally forth at this point, I really don't think it's going to be very much of a challenge, to be fair. They're just going to be a very weak force. Now, Scotland theoretically is supposed to be helping us out, but I don't see them doing anything. We just take control of this Moormire and we're good, right? So let's see what happens this next turn. We might be able to assault to them. We might just be able to hang out and just let them fall apart completely. So we're starting to gain 1 per turn. We're at -2 or -3, depending on where you're looking right now. We're not ranked yet, but getting there. So in terms of what has happened, let's take a look at the log here. Our strongholds and places of influence throughout our realm are a show of might for all to see. We gain 1 authority. I don't know what happened here that I think should have been -2, but All right. And then we received new regional decision, spy on nobility. Again, don't really need to do that because we don't have any vassals or peers of the realm, so we'll hold that for later. Several signs tell us the next 3 months will be particularly harsh for men and crops. And there we go. And so, while besieging Glasgow and Strathclyde, Galloway inflicted a few casualties against the defender. Yeah, talk about a few casualties. These guys are in real bad shape. Food usage is 2 and 4, and it looks like that number is red. I'm assuming they're unsupplied and besieged, so they're just dying, which is, you know, not great for them, but we just have to wait. Look at that. It went down to 30. This is a 3rd turn. We could just sit here and then the whole garrison is going to just starve out. Very easy to win that war. Almost too easy. All we have to do is literally just sit here. We haven't done anything. I don't know why we seem to be able to pursue this besieging, but why we can siege this long without having to do literally anything. They have 21 combat power. That's not great, bud. Yeah, 59. We're not losing anything. We're fully supplied. I don't know. I mean, that's the reason why we're building a bunch of farms, legumes, and shepherd houses, right? So let's just progress to the next turn. I mean, at this rate, they should just starve out by the end of the next turn. We should just walk in, which seems kind of, I would not want to say gamey. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what we can do now, there's a design to attack. So, you know, let's just go ahead and view the battle here, because this is one of those where it's obvious. 59 versus 16. This is going to end real quickly. I don't think there's going to be anything to gain from trying to export this battle. It is not interesting enough. This is very much one-sided. Let's just go ahead and view this. So we can either view the battle or view the report. Viewing the battle is kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. It will take us to what looks like a Field of Glory battlefield screen. And just kind of fast forward. Let's just go ahead and start the battle here. So we have a bunch of archers here. Okay, and their entire army is exhausted because they've been starving for 3 turns. Continue. Oh, I guess we do turn by turn here. This is turn 8, right? Okay, our sergeants are here. Scots Highlanders defending. Wait, where are we? Wait, is this us? Nope, this is us. Okay, this is a little confusing because Strathclyde's up here. So 3 and any, yeah, this is just gonna autoplay here, but it's our Highlanders versus their sergeants. Oh, our Highlanders actually have bows. All right. Plus color, total rating, sure. Let's see what happens here. Strong, regular, minimum roll, sure. So this is just giving us a layout of what's happening. Ooh, that's real bad. That's real bad. So yes, 10 plus 10, and then they're 3 plus 4 plus 3. Those dice did not roll in their favor at all. Okay, so we have our light archers facing off against their light archers. And so we can do the continuous play and just have them kind of do this where we don't need to, we'll see all the stats here on the side as it goes, but instead of doing step by step, we'll just watch all of it. So, you know, this is not surprising. Oh no, our light archers. Oh no, our light archers. But I mean, to be fair, a couple units of light archers versus their entire remaining army. Cool. Let's go ahead and view the report here. So we lost a couple units of light archers. Those I think were our original troops. The rest are these of our troops that were non-standard, right? So we have a couple units of Highlanders, 3 units of archers, and a couple of light archers, which we started with 4. They had sergeants and then a bunch of light archers. So they did not defend themselves very well at all. I don't know where we click. It seems to have frozen. Galloway won the battle. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's processing the turn. We've completely destroyed their entire army here. And I'm assuming that kind of stands in for the garrison as well. I think their entire garrison just kind of sallied forth and did very, very poorly. So we're going to take a look now at what the options are. Now that we've conquered their one territory, we will no longer be a one province minor, we'll be a two province minor, which is great. Okay, so let's take a look here. The siege is over, the siege of Glasgow and Strathclyde is over, and Galloway stands victorious. So now I think we're good. So now we have a couple of units here. Now we have hits and effectiveness. So you lose effectiveness if you're moving, etc. That's another mechanic we're going to go into in more detail later. But let's just take a look at what's happened here. Now, this is a summary. A battle has been fought in Strathclyde between Galloway and Strathclyde. While besieging Glasgow and Strathclyde, Galloway inflicted a lot of casualties against the defender. I mean, yeah, we destroyed their army. It's a great victory. We've gained Strathclyde, which was the seat of power of Strathclyde. Their treasury has been plundered, although not everything was there. So 125 coins, which is great. So we'll have to take a look at this. We're losing 5, so we'll take a look at why that's happening. Strathclyde's hold on Strathclyde has been shattered, for we have claimed it in the name of our nation. The siege of Glasgow and Strathclyde is over, and Galloway stands victorious. So I don't know if that means the war is over and we've just gained it, which looks like what's happened here, and they've been unceremoniously swept from the game. So we have claimed it for our nation. It's a great victory. Lothian saw an invasion by Galloway. Wait, Lothian? We didn't do anything in Lothian. Wait, no. Why did we do that? Stop, don't raid. We're cool. Wait, when did that happen? What? Saw an invasion by Galloway. The local militia was beaten and some pillaging occurred. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it has this order to just constantly be raiding, which I need to draw back because we don't want to rub Scotland the wrong way. So we need to double check that. I don't know how that happened, honestly. That sounds real weird to me. And so Anchorage owned by Lothian, and Lothian has been destroyed by Galloway. I didn't do that. I'm sorry, bud. What we have done is we have conquered Strathclyde. Now, there's no kind of congratulations. It's just, here you go. You conquered this. Now, our capital's here still in Wigtown. Even though Strathclyde is here, Galloway is here, growth. So now we need to kind of figure out what we're doing here. Forced assimilation. This region is being forcibly assimilated into the ruling nation due to the power vacuum left by the previous ruler's disappearance. Makes sense. So there's a penalty for a bunch of stuff. Food, infrastructure, commerce, stewardship. That's going to last for 5 turns. So we're going to have to kind of ride that one out. We have, it's rough terrain, fortification level. Here we go. Legacy generation. Here we go. Okay, resulting legacy generation 0. Combined storage, stored piety and stewardship, and up to 1,000 combined points in this education level is backwards. Okay, so we're going to go back into that a little bit later. So now we can just right-click on this, and we have successfully taken over Strathclyde. So we're no longer a one-province minor. So now if we take a look at this, we want to make sure that food production, that's going back to normal. Infrastructure, money is not. So now this is the reason why we're losing money, because they're not producing any money because of the unrest. So this is a crude smelter, which is providing 2 metal, which is great. It's harder than plowing a field. I don't know what that means. We also have a craftsman burrow. So we can click on those for more detail. So here we're generating 10 money. If we decided to say move one of these guys with growth in 1 turn, right? So minus 16 productivity. If we wanted to take this Freeman here and move him here, we could, and that would adjust our growth. It wouldn't be 1 turn, it would be... Okay, bud. Wait, hold on. Why can't I move this guy? There we go. So it'll be 2 turns. We are now producing more infrastructure. So I don't want that necessarily. We can move him down to the Anchorage. It'll increase our production here, but minus 8 food. So it'll take 2 turns, but we'll gain more money, right? This is going to be generating 16 now. But let's just take a look again. We can do this however much we want, so we can just make sure that we get everything the way that we want it to. Right now we're earning 10. If we move this guy down here, that's plus 5. So that makes up for the deficit for right now. So even if it takes a little bit longer for our population to grow, that's great. At least we're not losing anybody. And to be fair, losing 5 ducats or whatever this is called every turn is not that bad. not a big deal. So we're losing a bunch of money here because we don't have anything that's making money for us right now. We're building village roads. I don't know what this is going to do, and it's not letting me see exactly what's happening here. Turns before completion 1, structure cost 75, left click to change, right click to cancel. I'm not going to cancel it just yet because I want to know what it's doing. It's not showing me what it's going to do though. It's just showing me what the infrastructure cost is. So I would have to look that up on my own. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and let that complete. So we're generating a bunch of stuff here. Things are going well. And honestly, I feel like that's a great first couple of turns, actually, turn 9. To get an idea, now Galloway is increasing in size. Now, unlike other games, it's not showing us exactly what's going on in the rest of the world. And that is fine. All this is hyper-localized in some way. So we can take a look here at this, I don't know, this Celtic independence, how we work with them, how we can go to diplomacy, how that works. It looks like we're not allowed to do anything of the sort, so I don't know how one interacts with these regions. It's going to be something I have to take a look at. So I think we have a good start to this game. We're getting more familiar with some of the dynamics. We had a very easy victory over Strathclyde. I have no idea how that happened in history, or why that's not always just a given. Now, one of the things that is interesting I've noticed here is that sometimes it's a little bit harder to tell the constituent elements of a kingdom. So, for example, we're 2 theoretically different shades of blue within Scotland. So Scotland we're part of the region of the Petty Kingdom of Scotland, neutral toward Galloway. We are both blue. I don't know if that's just because those are the kind of regions that the kingdom is supposed to be part of, or what. England, for example, is red. Wales is this kind of golden yellow color. Ireland is green, and different shades thereof. So you have a couple of different shades of green that are all part of the Irish region. This is all technically Scotland. This is part of Norway, right? So we have a couple of different colors. If we click on these, it's a slightly lighter shade of blue. So yeah, we'll have to kind of look more into that. It's a little, it's not as clear as I'm used to seeing with some other layouts, other games. That could just be something that takes a while to get used to, or maybe there's going to be a mod in the future that makes it a little bit more easy to look at. Now, there's a bunch of different buttons down here that we haven't looked at. These are different overlays, so we can definitely try to see what kind of information we want to get more granularity, get more clarity on some of this information. But I think for right now, we've established ourselves in the area. We've gone to our first successful war against Galloway. We are allied, or not allied, but on friendly terms, or at least somewhat friendly terms with Scotland here. We have a Celtic independence fiefdom up here, and now we're just going to have to wait for England to make a move. I'm definitely not going to poke the bear here, but we'll see what happens. We're right on the border with them. I think we need to build up our economy and see what happens. We're just going to start raiding, because that's what the game is kind of encouraging us to do. So we're going to see how that works out, what benefits we have to gain from that, and we will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. This has been a real fun chance to take a look at Field of Glory Kingdoms. We'll continue this next time. Till then, take care.